Welcome back to another Pirkei Avot text explication with me, your host, Rabbi Drew. We are now on the 14th. That's right, the 14th text in the 5th chapter. And this, as we'll notice, actually, you know what? Let's just dive right into it. Arba midot b'hoche levet midrash. There are 4 types of people who go to the house of study. What may resonate with you or what may sound familiar is this opening structure, this opening formula of 4 different types, arba midot. This is in fact the 5th consecutive text that has begun with these 2 words, arba midot. There are 4 kinds of 4 characteristics or 4 categories we may even think about. So what are these 4 characteristics of people who go to this house of study or study house? And you know what, actually, what is this term Beit HaMidrash? What does this mean? Before we even actually get into it, what are we even talking about? As it turns out, Beit Midrash. Okay, so Beit HaMidrash, these are 2 different words. Well, Beit is house. Okay, it's a house. That doesn't really require a lot of, I don't really need to go into that. But the second word, HaMidrash. What is Midrash? Well, the root of this word is drash, which is explication or expound. And what is this expounding? So this is a place of expounding. And the idea is that people would come together, and this is really where it's not just midrash, that they would create something that I've spoken about before of midrashim, sort of a text, sort of a narrative expansion, if you will, sort of a rabbinic narrative expansion, and that is midrash, which is true. Like, they did do some of this, but also expounding in terms of understanding not just stories, but also understanding halakha, rules, how to live Jewishly from the very foundational texts, the Torah, and so forth. So the Beit HaMidrash, this is where they would convene. This would be the central locus, the central place where the rabbis, and certainly in these times that we're talking about, in the first couple of centuries of the Common Era, would come together, they would convene, and this is where they would discuss. Now, they didn't have as many books as we did. We live in an era with the printing press. They did not have so many books. Yes, they had obviously scriptures. They had the Bible. They had Tanakh, the Jewish Bible, but they didn't really have a lot of other things that were written. They did do a lot of speaking. The oral culture was very important to them, and that was the means that they were able to study and come together and expound, to argue, to delve into texts, and that was the spot. That was the place that these activities took place, or at least the primary place where these activities took place. Okay, now with that understanding under our belts, we can move on into these 4 categories of people. The first, holich ve'eno ose, one who goes, but they actually go to the Beit Midrash. They just don't do anything there. They do nothing at the Beit HaMidrash. They do nothing at the study house. Zchar halicha v'yado. That this person has at least reward that they actually took the time and energy to go to the Beit HaMidrash. At least they have that. They put in the effort. They didn't do what the place is really meant to be used for, but at least they went. Okay, that's something. The second category, Osa ve'eno holech, one who does the study, but they don't even bother going. Well, schar ma'aseh v'yado. At least this person has the reward of doing the action, and the action here, of course, is study. Right? That's the clearly already we're getting the sense that this is a praiseworthy activity. This is a valued activity of engaging in midrash, engaging in study, endeavoring in our tradition. That is rewarded here. At least this person has that reward. They didn't bother going to the Beit HaMidrash, the central location where these activities take place, but they still did it in their own place. The third one, holech va'ose chasid. One who goes, one who does. They're pious, they're chasid. Okay, on. All right, that's great. They went there. They did what that place is supposed to be used for. They engage, they endeavor in expounding and studying. That's wonderful. That's fantastic. But we still have one left. Lo holech v'lo oseh. One who doesn't bother going and they don't bother studying. Russia. wicked. Okay? They don't. This is no part of their lives, right? They don't even bother going. They don't engage in this. If I can just be honest, just between you and me, I am shocked. I'm surprised that this word Russia is used to describe this person who doesn't bother going. Here's why. Here's what shocks me about it. I get there's going to be a negative moral valence according to this person, this category of person who doesn't even bother going. Okay, I get that there would be something negative. Say that maybe you can call them an idiot, maybe an unlearned person, maybe that they are, I don't know, they're just a boor, maybe they're a naive individual, right? But to say that they're wicked, when I hear wicked, I think something on a more active basis. I perceive this person as a more passive person, because I could see someone being actively engaged in trying to destroy the transmission of tradition. That I would understand as a Russia, as a wicked person. But this person who is just passively unengaged with any sort of Torah learning, of engagement with what it means to be Jewish, that's to call them wicked is a pretty. I'm just going to tell you, between you and me, I'm pretty surprised, to be honest about that. Also, I kind of would have thought, oftentimes in rabbinic literature, we have opposites that play off of each other. So one opposite, it would use, one side would be a Rasha, who's a wicked person, and the other would be a tzaddik, a righteous person, which is interesting that they use a chassid here for someone who goes and does. That's good, that's pious. It's almost like they're held up as a paragon of what should be done vis-a-vis this Beit HaMidrash. That's good. They're not calling them more than, that's not super duper amazing. They're saying that's good, that's a paragon, that's wonderful, they're pious. But to say someone who doesn't even bother going, that's simply wicked, okay. I will be honest, I am shocked, I remain shocked. But although these final two categories certainly are pretty, we can understand that the one who goes to the study house and studies there, engages in these conversations, is certainly pious. It's held up as a paragon. It's good. They're pious. And someone who doesn't even bother, that's bad. It is fascinating, though. I think these first two categories are the ones that are quite fascinating, because someone who doesn't go, at least they have the reward. And someone who doesn't go, but they do study, they do engage. Okay, so they were involved in the activity ultimately, even if they weren't able to, or they didn't bother to go. Well, I think for me, the most fascinating insight or sort of novel approach to this is the one who goes but doesn't bother to engage in the study. But at least schar halicha v'yado, at least they have the reward for at least bothering to go, right? They didn't accomplish anything as far as what the point of going to the Beit HaMidrash was, the study house. But this is it's kind of an amusing and sort of a clever takeaway from this text, I think. So again, this is the fifth consecutive text that starts off with Arba Midot, 4 different categories of a particular thing. And we're going to continue on as we see the next text. Alrighty, that's what I've got for now, and thank you so much for watching.